Hello, guys and gals, and this is episode 5, or part 5, of our reading of Pokemon Visual Guide by Chris. I can never remember the name. Apologies. Chris Silvestri and Katherine Fang. Both very gifted and full of information. This has been a joy to read through. In the last episode, I think we talked about Gary Oak, to be honest. Move my folder and my numbers out of the way. And we're just going to go back. Yeah, in the last episode we talked about Gary Oak. Or that's where we left off. We are going to talk about Team Rocket now. Move my bookmark. Okay. And we're going to talk about Jesse and James and Meowth. But yeah. Listen, is that a voice I hear? It's speaking to me loud and clear, on the wind, past the stars, in your ear. Bringing chaos at a breakneck pace, dashing hope, bringing fear in its place. A rose by any other name is just as sweet. When everything's worse, our work is complete. Jesse, James, and Meowth. Now that's a name. Putting the do-gooders in their place, we're Team Rocket, in your face, Wobbuffet. So, yeah. We are going to start up here with Jesse. Always really like Jesse's hair, that hair color, and James's hair too. How could a trio of ineffective criminals possibly make it through dozens of lands, hundreds of adventures, and thousands of misfires in the annals of Pokemon lore? You'd have to be so spectacularly bad at your job that people would notice, and on that note, we introduce you to Team Rocket. Humble beginnings. Both Jesse and James have very intricate backstories that actually have you feeling sorry for them. Jesse had a troubled childhood. She was incredibly poor, having to eat snow to survive. Jesse tried nursing school for a while, but flunked out and eventually met James. Now let's go over Jesse's Pokemon. We have Dustox here. Started out of the Wurmple apparently. Completely convinced that her Wurmple, which had evolved into Cascoon, was going to evolve into a Beautifly. She is disappointed at first when it finally evolves after a battle with May. She quickly comes to adore Dustox and only releases it so it can mate. Okay. I think that's what Ash did that's why Ash released his first Pokemon, Butterfree, I think. And there's Arbok. Ekans was an obedient Pokemon that Jessie used often. It evolved into Arbok and became her go-to Pokemon. She eventually released it so that it could help a group of Ekans being threatened by poachers. Okay, I didn't realize that either. Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet was obtained mistakenly when Jessie accidentally dropped her ball, a real tracing machine. She was unaware that her Licky Tongue had been traded until later in a battle with the Twerps. Seviper. A sturdy battler on Jessie's team, Seviper has a long-running feud with Zangoose. It obeys Jessie, but will never back down from a fight with Zangoose. This has been Jesse's Pokemon of choice for some time. And Yanmega. Caught as a Yanma, Jesse's Yanmega evolved very quickly. Okay, now let's talk about James. I know a little bit about James, but not much. Says, James was born to a wealthy family and has always enjoyed his status and wealth. So why would he give it all up just for a life of crime? After attending Pokemon Tech, a school for Pokemon education, James grew bored of his lifestyle and ran away, leaving Growlithe at home. After a short stint in the Bridge Bike Gang, Jesse set his sights somewhat higher and decided to join the Team Rocket Syndicate. Okay, we're just going to go over the Pokemon here. Growlithe, or Growly, as James calls him, was one of his first Pokemon. His pet was beloved, but when James ran away from home, he left Growlithe Growly behind. When James does meet up with him again, he leaves Growly to guard over his as guardian over his scheming parents. Okay. Victory Bell. Although Weepin' Bell was one of James' first Pokemon, he leaves it at a daycare center to evolve into Victory Bell. He loses Victory Bell in a Pokemon swap. That's kind of sad. Chimecho. Jesse calls Chimecho his first love, but after almost being duped into buying a Hopep, a real Chimecho agrees to become one of his Pokemon. After it comes down with a fever, James leaves it with his nanny and Pop Pop, but vows to return for it after it heals. Mime Jr. James's nanny and Pop Pop are helping to heal his sick Chimecho. Mime Jr. jumps into an empty Pokeball that falls to the ground, voluntarily becoming his newest Pokemon. Coughing. Coughing is seen when we first meet Team Rocket and has proven itself to be a formidable battler. It eventually evolves into a Wheezing along with Jesse's Ekans. It was released along with Jesse's Arbok. Carnivine. Early in Sinnoh, Team Rocket is trudging along after another defeat. They come across an old mansion where James spent his summers. And inside the playroom, James finds a beloved, albeit forgotten childhood Pokemon of his, Carnivine. And Meowth. Meowth's story is heartbreaking, but its desire remains constant. It wants to supplant Giovanni's favorite pet Pokemon Persian. All of Meowth's schemes almost work, but he always ends up paying for the bungling antics of Jesse and James. Moving on. Cerulean City. Kanto Cerulean City is Misty's hometown, a modern city located on the ocean. In keeping with its location, one of its featured attractions is the water-type Cerulean Gem. But the city is home to other attractions with an oceanic theme. Cerulean City's own lighthouse is a scenic rendezvous spot in an area surrounded by trees. Cerulean City Gem. One look at the Cerulean Gem, and it's clear the type of Pokemon in it. But it's more than just a gym. Misty's sisters love to stage water ballet shows with the gym's central tank as their stage. For battles, the tank is usually recessed into the ground, just like a normal pool. But the tank can be elevated above ground for special events and shows. So right there, I guess that's the tanks when they're underwater. Let's read about this right here. Although Misty's sister Daisy can't wait to get Misty and Tracy into some water ballet outfits and into the pool, Misty is happy to hand over the spotlight to Lily and Violet, the scriptwriting sister. Misty is already drafted to play a mermaid in one underwater show, and she's not keen on a repeat performance. Her Pokemon include Goldeen, Starmie, Corsola, Horsea, and Staryu. Continue to appear in water shows, while Kassarin and Loverin, two love discs recently acquired by the gym, can also help provide special effects. The ceiling above the pool features lots of windows to let in light, and those windows can also swing open or shut. In the gym's basement is an aquarium room filled with additional tanks for the gym's water-type Pokemon. Now let's making the Cascade Badge. Let's read about that. The Cerulean Gem's Cascade Badges aren't just for show, they're handcrafted works of art. When supplies run out, Misty, Sakura, and Tracy pay a visit to the artist, Mr. Kinzo, who lives in Rayfor Village. There they learn through hands-on experience that making a badge is a grueling process that involves smithing, filing, welding, and a light hand with a brush. Earning the Cascade Badge. But for all that work, Misty's sisters tend to be lax about the requirements for earning a Cascade Badge. Whenever Misty isn't around, it's not unusual for them to practically give the badges away. One trainer, Jimmy, earned his Cascade badge for helping Daisy clean the pool, although Tracy has also done the same thing and has yet to receive a badge for his troubles. That's cute, a little Charmeleon sweeping. Okay, let's talk about the Indigo Conference here. The Kanto Region's Indigo Conference is Ash's first big tournament and the culmination of everything he's worked for so far, not the least of which is the fact that his rival Gary will be there. 8 Kanto gym badges earn entry into the tournament, after which it's down to a series of elimination rounds. The Indigo Conference takes place on the Indigo Plateau, located near a sparkling lake. Indigo Stadium is where the tournament's main events take place, but the first 4 rounds are held in other outlying stadiums. Competitors can look forward to comfortable accommodations in the Pokemon League Village and free meals at area restaurants. Parades and other special events add to the festive atmosphere for trainers and spectators alike. President Goodshow, a Pokemon League Torch Committee official, presides over the opening ceremonies. There's a ceremony release. There's a ceremonial release of a flock of Pidgey and a parade of all competing trainers, followed by the lighting of the stadium's central torch. Let's continue reading down this side first, and then we'll read this side. It says here, the first 4 rounds are 3-on-3 battles in separate stadiums, each with one of 4 different battlefields: rock, grass, water, and ice. Each competitor must win matches on all 4 types, and competitors are assigned to fields at random. Once a competitor advances past the first 4 rounds and into the top 16, they battle on a standard field in Indigo Stadium. Starting at the quarterfinal final stage, battles are 6-on-6 instead of 3-on-3. For the top 16 brackets are determined by having each trainer fish for a numbered Magikarp. Ash must battle Richie. Richie defeats Ash. Several Ash's Pokemon are exhausted after a running struggle to escape Team Rocket and get to the stadium on time, so Ash's options are limited. Charizard is his last Pokemon, but when it refuses to battle, Ash loses the round in his final 16 match by default. Now, Asunta defeats Richie. Richie's own run ends here. His match ends. His match comes down to a battle between Sparky and Asunta's Ivysaur. Despite the type advantage, Sparky is knocked out. Closing ceremonies. Everyone wins something in the Indigo League, so to speak. At the closing ceremony, the winner receives a trophy. The rest of the competitors parade into Indigo Stadium and receive a commemorative badge, then bask in the light of a spectacular fireworks display. I guess that's the badge. So I think I've read all that. Kanto Gym Battles. On his way to becoming Pokemon Master, Ash must first find and defeat the gym leaders for each area. He starts in Kanto, where the gyms are spaced pretty far apart, leaving open the possibility of endless adventure. Let's start with Pewter City. Pewter City, Gym Leader Brock. It looks like it is Geodude versus Pidgey. Or Pidgey, I think that's Pidgeotto. Gust works like a charm, a really, really bad charm. Flying attacks are weak against rock-type Pokemon. Geodude versus Pikachu. Geodude is no match for the strengthened Pikachu. Brock recalls Geodude. Pikachu faces better odds. Pikachu fares better against Onix, but in the end, Brock stops the fight when it appears that it may hurt Pikachu. Luck is on their side, though, and a damaging sprinkler malfunction weakens Brock's rock-type Pokemon. Ash meets his first gym leader, Brock, while in Pewter City. Brock runs the Pewter Gym, but also acts as a father to his abandoned siblings. Ash is reluctant to defeat Brock in front of his brothers and sisters, but his chivalry is rewarded when Brock joins his team and grants him the Boulder Badge. Okay, let's see. We're going to go, I think, down to this one. Cerulean City Gym. Gym leader, the Sensational Sisters. It looks like it is Star U versus Butterfree. Ash is a little overconfident going against Misty, and the battle volleys until Butterfree's stun spore does a number on Staryu. Staryu delivers a hard blow, and Ash recalls it. Then it is Starmie versus Pidgeotto. Recalling Staryu, realizing Staryu probably couldn't take much more, Misty recalls it and sends out Starmie. Wing Attack and Gust give Pidgeotto the edge, but before anyone can finish the match, Team Rocket arrives and rains on the parade. The Sensational Sisters, Misty's sisters, are about to give the badge to Ash when Misty intervenes. She wants to battle Ash for the badge, and does an admirable job. Unfortunately for Ash, Pikachu doesn't want to battle his new friend, Misty. When Team Rocket stops the pitched battle, Pikachu comes forward and blasts them off. The Sensational Sisters award the badge to Ash for saving the gem. Okay, next, let's talk about Vermilion City. I'm not sure if I'm reading these in the proper order, and I apologize because I don't know the order of these. I don't remember Gen 1 all that much. Vermilion City Gym. Gym Leader Lieutenant Surge. Lieutenant Surge, a fierce gym leader, uses Pikachu's evolved form Raichu. Raichu is more powerful and knows more moves than Pikachu, so their first meeting is disastrous. While recuperating at the Pokemon Center, Nurse Joy offers Ash a Thunderstone, which would evolve Pikachu into Raichu, but Pikachu refuses, instead opting to face Surge and his Pokemon on his own terms. Okay, it says, the first outing ends fairly quickly. As Lieutenant Surge predicted, Pikachu tries to use Thunder Shock, but Raichu easily absorbs it using a Thunder Shock that was much more powerful. By the time Raichu got around to using Mega Punch, the match was over. Pikachu was emboldened by its promise to protect its honor and not level up using a Thunderstone. Raichu is ready with Body Slam, but Pikachu's agility outmaneuvered it. Each time it was Raichu versus Pikachu. Okay, let's go to Saffron City here. Saffron City Gym, the leader was Sabrina, and it was Kadabra versus Pikachu. Pikachu is confused by Abra's indifference, which actually is a form of telekinesis. Abra evolved into a much stronger Kadabra, then proceeded to wipe the floor with Pikachu using psychic attacks and confusion. Then it was Kadabra versus Haunter. Using Psybeam, Kadabra expects to win easily, but then Haunter shows up and makes Sabrina laugh. Then this immobilizes her Kadabra and wins Ash the Marsh Badge. Celadon City Gym. Gym leader is Erica. On their arrival in the sweet-scented Celadon City, Missy and Brock are taken by the town's perfume shop. But Ash is rude and dismissive, which angers the shop's owner and the town's gym leader, Erica. Ash now must find some other way into the gym, and he enlists the help of Team Rocket to sneak in Ashley. Pikachu uncovers his drag act, and Erica angrily takes him on in a battle for the Rainbow Badge. So, excuse me. It was Tangela versus Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur tries Vine Whip to attack Tangela from a distance, but Tangela counters with Constrict. After using Stun Spore effectively on Bulbasaur, Ash withdraws it. Then it was, that looks like Bell's, that's Weepinbell. Weepinbell versus Charmander. Weepinbell used Razor Leaf, but Charmander's Flamethrower easily burns the grass-type Weepinbell. Ash finishes with Skull Bash, and Erica removes Weepinbell from battle. Okay, now it's Gloom versus Charmander. Erica calls out Gloom against Charmander, and because she has such a tight bond with her Pokemon, it lays the smackdown on Charmander pretty easily. Team Rocket show up during the fracas to steal the secret formula for the gym's world-renowned perfume, and sets the gym on fire. Ash puts aside his battle to save the Pokemon, and in particular Erica's Gloom, for which she rewards him with the Rainbow Badge. What I noticed is that Ash doesn't really win his battles. He just helps the gym leaders, and he gets his badges that way. Fuchsia City. Gym leader is Koga. Okay, it looks like it is Venonat versus Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur and Venonat parry with limited results until Bulbasaur's Leech Seed takes Venonat down. And then we're going to go down here then. Venonat evolves almost immediately into Venomoth, which uses Stun Spore and Sleep Powder with devastating results against Pidgeotto. Now we have Venomoth versus Charmander. Charmander takes over for the fainted Pidgeotto and gains the advantage with Flamethrower. Their battle, however, is interrupted by Team Rocket. Continuing their earlier match, Charmander faces Golbat and uses Ember attack to great effect. Golbat counters with Screech, but Charmander's Fire Spin does it in. Okay, now we have the Cinnabar Island Gym. I thought that Blaine had Ponyta. I don't see it here, though. Cinnabar Island Gym, the gym leader is Blaine. Squirtle seems like the obvious choice for a lava gym, but Ninetales uses Fire Spin and the most powerful attack in its repertoire, and Squirtle is knocked out. Charizard actually sleeps through the whole match and forfeits the battle. It embarrasses Ash and disobediently leaves the arena. Pikachu has to pick up for Charizard and its use of Rhydon's horn as a lightning rod leads to an easy victory for Ash. Okay, that was one of the controversial things and one of the silly things was that Rhydon's horn was actually a lightning rod, which is not exactly canon. No match. Pikachu is so outmatched that Ash forfeits the battle to save Pikachu. Then it's Magmar versus Charizard. Okay, that was Magmar versus Pikachu. The volcanic conclusion to the battle with Blaine is epic. A battle of flamethrower attacks is useless, so Magmar uses Fire Blast, the most powerful move it knows. Charizard deflects it and finally wins the match with its seismic toss. And lastly, we have the Viridian City Gym. Giovanni is the gym leader. Giovanni, the gym leader of Viridian City, is also the head of Team Rocket. He is a super powerful. He has a super powerful Pokemon at his side. Pokemon that wiped out all of Gary's Pokemon, Mewtwo. Giovanni is absent when Ash arrives, and he has to battle Jesse and James. Okay, so it's like this. It looks like it is Machamp versus Squirtle. Machamp treats Squirtle like the squirt it is and ends up hurting Ash in the process. Then we go Bulbasaur versus Krabby. Bulbasaur's Vine Whip has no effect when Kingler, uses its Harden. When it hits Bulbasaur with Bubble Attack, it seems as if Ash is destined to lose. Then we go up here. It looks like a combination of Quick Attack and Double Edge attacks put things right for Ash, so that means that Pidgeotto probably wiped out Kingler. And Pikachu evens everything out with a very powerful Thunder Shock to wipe out the competition. Team Rocket has rigged the battlefield so that trainers feel the pain of their Pokemon. In true Team Rocket fashion, they rigged both sides of the field. When Ash uses Pikachu's Thunderbolt and Team Rocket blast off, he wins the 8th and final badge, the Earth Badge. Okay. Looks like we've got a newspaper thing here. Strange Meowth balloon floating above Sinnoh, story on page 74, and then Sinister Hunter J wanted on multiple counts of theft. A planet full of Pokemon in a fantastic place to begin, but the Pokemon world is full of other unusual sights, magic, mystical kingdoms, giant Pokemon. Ash and friends have encountered all this and more. So let's see. Lombre the Waterlord. The locals have a shrine to Lombre. Mighty Pokemon such as Dialga and Palkia have long been revered for their power, but Lombre? There is indeed a town in Hoenn where locals have a shrine to Lombre, their Waterlord, who is said to live in a spring upstream from their village. The Water Lord is honored with music and dancing in the hopes that it will keep the village supplied with water, but after a fateful encounter with Ash, Brock's Lombre, and a Soul Rock, the village now venerates Soul Rock instead. Okay, we're going to go down here to the Red Gyarados. Red Gyarados scares locals. Especially vicious, the Red Gyarados is rumored to be much more aggressive and territorial than the average Gyarados, often found in secluded underwater caves or in hidden underground lakes. The Red Gyarados is slightly larger, but otherwise identical. Although clearly believed to be a myth by many, Team Rocket has seen and been blasted off by Red Gyarados. We're going to go down here real quick. Togepi from another world. Hoenn residents aren't likely to find the Mirage Kingdom listed in any guidebook. To reach it, visitors must use an airship to cross a desert and the ring of rocky peaks that hide the kingdom from outside eyes. That alone is remarkable, but what makes the Mirage Kingdom truly unusual is a centuries-old connection with Togepi, its guardian of peace and freedom. The palace and nearby temple both incorporate design elements reminiscent of Togepi, as do the fashions of the royal family. Because Togepi are sensitive to the goodness, or lack thereof, that dwells in human hearts, conditions in the Togepi paradise are closely linked to conditions in the Mirage Kingdom. That's why Princess Sarah, who, after a little help from Misty and her friends, now rules the Mirage Kingdom has sworn to protect the Togepi paradise. Misty's Togepi now evolves into Togetic, is a stalwart guardian of the paradise as well. Okay, it says here, is the giant clay doll even a real Pokemon? According to a legend, a maiden crafted it from the mud of Lake Izabi, and the clay doll searched for her after it was released, and now Ash and Team Rocket lure the clay doll towards the stone Pokeball on the cliff. Wolfey bears a certain resemblance to the original maiden. Okay, on Hoenn's Izabi Island lies the Valley of Destruction, where a giant stone Pokeball was once perched high on a cliff. The valley acquired its ominous name in the time of the destruction, when the Great Destroyer was released from the stone Pokeball. This Great Destroyer was a huge clay doll, 20 times the normal size. And a normal clay doll is already 4 foot 11 inches tall. Clay doll rampaged across the island for 7 days and nights until a white sage conjured up a giant Pokeball and used it to seal clay doll in Lake Izabi. The clay doll remained in the lake for 1,000 years until Team Rocket let it out, and the stone Pokeball in the lake was lost in the process. Fortunately, Clay Doll's original Pokeball was still perched on the valley cliff. After Clay Doll was sealed in the Pokeball rolled into the lake, restoring the balance. We are going to end it here. Pick it up from right here. We're going to read about Pokemon Magic turns a boy into a Pikachu. I'm not familiar with that. Downtown rocked by battle of giant Pokemon and giant flying Pokemon. So this all should be pretty cool. We have been reading from... Oh wait, let me put this here. I'll have to remember that we just read about the Clay Doll. We have been reading from Pokemon Visual Guide by Chris Silvestri and Katherine Fang. And that's that. If you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell so you know when I upload. And if you want to support me in any way at all that information will be in the description below. As always, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.